Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Have you heard the term social slacking? Actually, the psychologists call it social loafing. I hadn't heard of it until about a week ago, but I can guarantee you both of us have felt the effects. So this is how you measure it. Let's say that we take someone, we put a blindfold on them, and we say we want them to do tug of war with a rope. And so with the blindfold on, we ask them to pull on that rope as hard as they can. And then they measure how hard the person is pulling on the rope. And then, okay, let's do it again. But this time, we put the blindfold on and we tell them that they're going to be doing tug of war, but they're part of a team. And so we need them to pull as hard as they can. Guess what? They don't. They slack. They figure the other people are going to pick up what they're not doing. Why try as hard if you don't need to? And that is social slacking, aka social loafing. And you've experienced those effects. And the reason why you continue with me on these videos, on the podcast, by the way, if you want to pick up the podcast, Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire, you're going to find it on the major channels. That's where these video audios get uploaded to. Okay, so the reason why you stick with me is because you are not a slacker. Maybe you have at times in your life because you just got so absolutely sick and tired of the conditions that you were in. But I'll let you know right now, you don't do it for very long because it's not who you are. See, 3% of people doing this test, when they're told that they're going to be part of a team, they pull just as hard, if not harder. Here's the challenge with most people. They only want to do what they're seen doing, which is the reason why the blindfold. I mean, if you were to take the blindfold off, well, yeah, they're going to pull really hard. That's not a leader. A leader brings who they are to every single experience, every single situation. And so whether someone watches it or not, they're going to be their very best. But that also means that you need to be able to deal with these social slackers. By the way, this just happened in my life. If you're new to my world, Dawn Ferguson, certified hypnotist, certified instructor. I train others to do this, and rapid results coach. I also happen to be head of the local chapter for the National Guild of Hypnotists, largest sanctioning body of hypnotists in the world. And I work with other hypnotists all the time, and no charge, when they have a question as far as, hey, someone's coming to me with chronic pain. What suggestions do you have? Or someone is having a hard time getting over heartbreak of a relationship. Or maybe they come to me and they say, I've done a session, didn't get the results that I wanted. What can we talk about? I do all of that because I want them to be their very best. Whether you decide to work with me or someone else, I always want to make sure that you're getting the very best person that you choose to work with that's the right fit for you. But I got a request from another hypnotist who said that, I'm getting these requests and I'm not quite sure how to word my response. And, you say it so well. So I was wondering if you could just tell me what I should say to them. That's social slacking. That's social loafing. By the way, I know this person has a questionnaire that they're supposed to go by whenever someone calls in with a request. And it's probably not the questionnaire. Probably being asked to write marketing copy at no charge. Nope. Now, you as a leader, you need to know that whenever people do social slacking and they expect you to pick it up, it's not their fault. They're doing it subconsciously. They don't even realize it. They're either doing it because someone told them that they weren't strong enough to do these things on their own. And so they're spending the rest of their life finding others to do it for them because they don't think they have the strength. Or the subconscious mind always seeks the path of least resistance. And so they discovered early that if they played a role on the trauma triangle, which is victim, bully, and hero, and typically victim, that they'd have other people come and assist them. And they were conditioned to be a victim. Here's the thing. We cannot continue to enable them because when we do, now we get to save them. We're on the trauma triangle with them. So know that it's not their fault, but also know that just like what I did, whenever I'm like, you have these answers, that you have to make them responsible for their own actions. Social loafers will want to do it on your dime and your time. And if you find yourself in a situation with one of them where you have to continue to enable them, then you need to get some assistance to see what you need to do about getting yourself in a better situation because you're acting out your conditioning and programming that you are supposed to enable social slackers. Okay, so while I would not give this other hypnotist the answers to her questions that she's getting, I'll give you the answers. All right, so some of the things that we're going to be talking about today: pain, addiction, feeling heartbroken. What about forgetting or remembering things? What about psychological diagnoses such as anxiety, depression? So let's talk about what you need to know in these different areas. And can hypnosis help you? See, hypnosis is simply a state of heightened suggestibility. That's all it is. And you go in and out of this suggestible state 100 to 200 times every single day. Why? Because every time you're in an emotional state, you're open to suggestion, but it's based on the emotions you're experiencing added in with your previous conditioning. So if you're experiencing emotions of fear, overwhelm, flooding, we call it emotional flooding, that's all avoidance. You are only going to accept suggestions that are avoidance suggestions, which is the reason why, I'm so stressed out, I better go eat a bag of chips, or I better go drink until I feel better. Because you'll only go along with the suggestions that match that emotion, which is the reason why utilizing hypnosis, I am going to relax you into a suggestible state, because then you'll accept suggestions of relaxing into success. Remember how I said the subconscious mind always takes the path of least resistance. Okay. Leaders, though, are a completely different breed. Now, are leaders born or are they made? Yep. Who you are with your personality, 50% is genetic, 40% is learned, 10% is situational. So it's going to be yes to all the questions. But leaders have done something different than the mediocre masses have. They say, whenever I experience what's considered avoidance emotions, avoidance situations, I want to take that and I want to turn it into energy to actually move towards my goals. When I'm told no, oh yeah, watch me. And when you come across, if you're a leader, when you come across a social slacker, you can actually program yourself to be an even better leader, having compassion for the fact that they were conditioned to be a slacker, but then also having the energy, the strength, the focus, and the implementation to say, okay, I know this is what you want, and we can partner together for you to discover it, but I am not going to do it for you. When I work with my clients, our roles are very clear and defined. I tell them exactly what they need to do to bring themselves out at their very best, and they are the ones that are responsible for the work. I am not responsible for them. I am not put on a pedestal because at some point I'm going to fall off. The system gets put on the pedestal. Who they really are gets put on the pedestal, but they got to earn the right by climbing to get up to the top. Okay. So, by the way, yes, self-hypnosis can program you that when these experiences show up in your life, they're actually a switch to turn on your brilliance even brighter. A leader knows that they're going to have to carry people, but they only carry them as long as that person is able to develop their own leadership skills. A true leader trains other leaders. They are not a manager. Managers simply are managing emotional states of people. That's all a manager is doing. Oh, let's get everybody up and trying to go in the same direction on a project. And then you have the employees that sit around and wait to be told what to do. You know, in all areas of our life, we will fit into these different aspects and roles. But there is one area of your life where you are a leader. And it's time we start bringing it out. And the situations that were triggering you to go into avoidance and hiding are the very things that are going to help you get on that pedestal. Okay. So, very first question, pain, chronic pain. Well, you've got two types of pain. You've got chronic and you've got acute. Chronic pain is where it's going to last for a long time. Acute is something that you go through. It might be a surgery, maybe some sort of dental work. If I'm working with someone on acute pain, like dental work, I don't need a doctor's okay on it. But if I'm working with someone on chronic pain, I do. Why? Because hypnosis is so effective that it can actually numb out the pain, but it's not always long lasting. This is one time where I am going to have to work with a client on an extended basis. I'm going to teach them what I'm doing for them, how to do it for themselves, how to begin to lessen the pain, and then how to begin to numb it out. I cannot promise that it is going to go away completely, but I will tell you that you can get into a healthy, functional life no matter how your body feels, because you're going to use it as a trigger to bring you out at your very best. Acute pain, dental work, no, I don't need a doctor's okay, but I do if I'm going to be working with you on chronic pain. So hypnosis can be used for both of those. Addiction. Okay, sugar, soda, cigarettes. Yes, hypnosis is wildly effective with just one session. That's it. One session, because you can walk away from those things. You don't ever have to have them in your life again. But if you're talking about any type of drug substance, whether it's abusing prescription, whether it's straight, I'm only going to be working with you if you're also working with a therapist or a counselor on this. We can't all of a sudden take what you're using away. There are some detoxes from drugs that are so severe, if you were to quit cold turkey, it could literally kill you. So have I worked in conjunction with other therapists, drug counselors, rehab centers. In fact, I've even trained somebody who was running a series of rehab centers for the state of Missouri in these techniques so that she could then better assist her staff in working on moving through the addiction. Here's the thing. You're always going to be addicted to something. How do I know? Guess. So turn it into an addiction for success. Turn it into going after your dreams, turning those desires into reality, and you will not settle for anything less than your best in your area of leadership. So if you're going to be addicted to making the world a better place because you're better. Okay, next question. Heartbroken. Can you forget the person? Why would you want to forget? Why would you want to forget the lessons that life gave you? Now, when you feel down, don't necessarily try to jump back up into life. When you get knocked down, maybe you should stay down and then work with someone like myself or another coach or mentor. Don't have it your friends. Your friends will go into the pity party with you. You're going to trigger them. No, this is going to be someone that doesn't want to give you a hand out. They want to give you a hand up. So partner with someone and find out the life lesson. Find out how, when you do get back up, you are going to be stronger. You're going to have a better focus. You're actually going to be able to love more. See, it's not the love that's the problem. No, it's the betrayal. It's the letting go. It's the loss of the dream. You thought life was going to turn out a certain way, and it didn't. And now you're having a challenge. You're grieving that dream. So can hypnosis assist you in using all of this to bring you out at your very best? Yes. So why would you freaking want to forget it? By the way, you decide that you want to work with a hypnotist. Reach out to me. I'll let you know how you can do that. But you should not be asking questions of, can you help me with heartbreak and how much is it? You should be asking questions of, do you specialize in this area? And how do you get to the core issue? How do you keep from just dealing with symptoms? Because everything I've talked about up to this point is simply symptoms of something else that's going on. An area of your identity where you were programmed and conditioned that you weren't okay and you had to hide it. You had to repress it and suppress it. Well, what the mind represses, the body expresses. And now you are experiencing your body going, no, we're going to have to live it out. Even if it's dysfunctional, we're still going to have to live it out. Okay, great. Let's turn the living into your leadership. Okay. So you should be asking, do you specialize in this area? How do you treat the core cause, not just the symptoms? How long is it going to take? By the way, if you can walk away from something, it can take one session. That's it. But if you want to be able to develop something, multiple sessions, I will tell you right now, I typically work with clients 4 sessions when they're developing something. 4 sessions, 4 coaching calls. So the sessions are to bring out their focus, their emotional optimization, their implementation. By the way, I just named off 3 sessions. And the 4th one, what's the next goal? What's the next dream that we're going to work on? Because the subconscious mind will not tolerate a void. And once you begin to get resolution on one area, it's going, give me what's next, or it will go back and sabotage you just to give itself something to do. I have clients where I work with them on a monthly basis, and I've worked with them for years that way. Why? There's always something next. There's a next level of leadership, maybe at work. There's maybe a level of leadership of compassion at work, or maybe it's the new house that they want to buy, or it's beginning to travel the world. There's always a next level. And when you keep dumbing yourself down, because you are a leader, when you keep dumbing yourself down, that's when the sabotage starts coming through really strong, because your subconscious craves that hit of adrenaline you get when you're a success. Well, you can be a success by going after your goals, and you can be a success being a hot mess. All right. So, and by the way, if you've joined me live, if you've got any questions or comments on this, shout them out in the comments. Know that there's a little bit of delay by the time I get them, so don't wait too long. All right. Memory. Now, hypnosis is phenomenal on memory for test taking and recall. But there is a secondary gain for you to be a failure. Let me give you an example. So, taking tests like to become a lawyer or to become a financial advisor, they're pretty serious tests. And you're only given a couple of times to be able to pass them, and then you're out for a while. So I had a woman call me from the parking lot because she had just failed her test. And it was for a high-level professional position. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've only got one more crack at this. And then I think it was like a year and a half she had to wait before she could take it again. And she wanted to know, can hypnosis help me? I'm like, in a heartbeat, we've got this, goddess. By the way, in my world, all women are goddesses, all men are Adonises, because that's who you really are. All right. So she came in and we do the hypnosis session. She absolutely rocked it. I've got full confidence she's going to be able to pass this test. We are now saying our goodbyes. She's getting ready to walk out of my office. By the way, I now work with everybody virtually, but this was a few years ago. She was getting ready to walk out of my office and through my waiting room, and I had another client waiting there, so I couldn't chat too long. And she stops in the doorway of my office, turns to me, and she goes, wow, I guess I really have a big decision to make now. And now I'm thinking, we're getting to the true cause. I'm like, what's the big decision? She goes, whether or not I stayed married. You want to tell me a little bit about that really quick? Because I got somebody waiting. And she goes, yeah, my husband can't wait for me to pass this test so he can quit his job. He already went down to part-time, and he wants me to support him. Remember how he talked in the beginning about social slackers? She's a leader, and she attracted in somebody who wants to live off of her dime and her time. And she said, I don't agree to this. I've got a bad marriage. It's getting even worse. And boy, I'm really going to have to make a big decision about this now. And I'm like, yes, you are. And you are going to do on this test whatever you need to do. See, she could have passed it. But you already guessed she failed it. She called me from the parking lot. This time she wasn't crying. She was laughing. Because she said she didn't realize until after the hypnosis session, and this is very common, that you will have some sort of breakthrough, aha, revelation within 72 hours after your session about how you've been sabotaging yourself. She said, I didn't realize it until after the session, the reason why I've been failing this test. I'm not going to pass this test till I end the marriage. And I said, yep. You got it. So 2.5 years later, I get a phone call from her. She's in another state. And she's like, I'm getting ready to take the test again. Can you assist me with it? And I'm like, well, yeah, we can do a refresher. Tell me what's been happening in the last 2.5 years. She said, yeah, I got a divorce not long after we talked. She says, I am remarried. I'm remarried to a man who actually owns the institution that I want to be able to work for. And I'm like, you know what? You don't need a refresher for me. You have all the motivation you need. She's like, yeah, I'd like to do it again anyway. By the way, ace the test with flying colors. See, when you continue to self-sabotage, it is because of secondary gain. There's something you don't want to face in your life. There's something you don't want to take responsibility for. But that it's simply because you are afraid that you don't have what it takes to move through it. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you do. But you need to be able to focus on where you're going, not what you're avoiding. You need to optimize those emotions because the fear isn't going to go away. So you got to flip the switch and turn it into extra energy for success. And then you need assistance with planning your strategies and tactics, which are basically your actions on how to move forward when life starts freaking falling apart. Here's a bonus tip for you. Most people, when they set a goal, they think about all the benefits and payoffs that they're going to get, which you should. That's very motivating. But the closer you get to the goal, the less that is going to work to keep you moving into the action. Now you need to start planning that things are going to go wrong, and how are you going to handle for things going wrong? So the closer you get to the goal, the more things that are going to show up as obstacles, and you need to be able to turn them into stepping stones for your success. By the way, I arrange my day this way. I start off with the day motivated by thinking about what I'm going to get, all the benefits of achieving the goals. But as I move through the day, it's like, okay, what could potentially happen now and how am I going to handle it? Okay, and what am I going to do when I start getting exhausted? And what's going to happen when I begin to lose my focus? Self-authoring. So use that. You cannot keep thinking about benefits, thinking it's going to keep you moving forward. Okay. Test taking, yes, it works. Okay. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, and other psychological diagnoses. You know, it was interesting. There was an article that just came out a couple of days ago that a behavioral scientist is saying a lot of these diagnoses that we're giving people aren't diagnoses, that it's not the brain malfunctioning, which is the reason why drugs don't work. It's simply that we were taught coping skills that are ineffective. With that being said, I cannot tell you what to do about medication. I don't step on MD toes, and that way they don't decide to slap me with a cease and desist. Got to play the game if you want to be able to help people. And the game is, I don't do anything with drugs. So I don't deal with insomnia because that's a diagnosis code that says you need to be on drugs. I do work with sleeplessness. I don't do anything with anxiety. I do work with fear. And I will tell you that there are some things, there are some experiences that others would consider trauma, and say that you need assistance from somebody with more initials behind their name than what I have. And if that's truly the case, I'll tell you, after 16 years of doing this, after 14 years of training others to do this, I know the limit to my boundaries. And here's the great thing. I have trained psychologists and therapists, as well as doctors, as well as nurses, but I've trained others who can help you long term if that's what you need. You reach out to me, and if I'm going, you know what, this is something where you're going to need additional assistance, maybe combining it with therapy, not coaching. Therapy is past based. Coaching is progress oriented. So if it's something that you need to go back in your past and really work some issues out, I'll refer you. Oh my gosh. Okay. So those are the answers to how hypnosis can assist you. How can I assist you? Because you cannot keep listening to the podcasts, watching the videos, reading the books, and not doing anything about it. You have to partner up with someone, whether it's me or somebody else, who can give you that hand up, because the original imprint that's causing you pain was caused by somebody else. So this is a social experience identity upgrade. You cannot do an identity upgrade on your own. And if I'm not the right fit for you, then you reach out to me and I'll tell you the questions that maybe you should be asking about your particular situation to the other people that you interview. But if I am, then you need to take action. So this is what you can do. Send me a text, 636-699-7791. That says Consult Dawn. Okay. Then I'll reach out to you with a couple of times I'm available. Oh, can you throw in your time zone, please? Australia, I love you. Boy, that's a big difference for me. Okay. Or you can go to my website, canhypnosishelpyou.com, and you can click on a link there to set a consult with me or maybe one of my associates. Now, here's the thing. When you get on the consult, I am going to let you know what it would look like working with me, whether it's a one-time session. By the way, it's not just a session. It's a session, it's a coaching call, and it's access to a course where I teach you self-hypnosis so you can do for you what I do for you. I don't want you dependent upon me, okay? This is all about empowerment. And if for some reason that might be out of your realm, then it is up to you to go, okay, I want to work with you, but that for whatever reason, that's not a good fit right now. What else do you suggest? Because I'm not going to suggest the easy way out. I'm going to tell you it's either working with me privately or it's not. But I got other options for you if you ask. See, there's the thing. Leaders ask. They know that to get better answers, you need to ask better questions, because the better answers lead to the better quality life. So 636-699-7791, consult Dawn and give me your time zone, and I'll respond back with a couple of times. It may be 72 hours before I can get to you, just so you know. You can go to the website, canhypnosishelpyou.com. Become certified. Let me teach you to do for others what I'm doing for you right now. You can go to ischforyou.com. Got a new class that's going to be starting. Registration closes Monday. All right. So go out and be brilliant and begin to recognize when you're open for those suggestions every time you're in an emotional state, and make sure the suggestions you're accepting are ones that are going to move you into progress. It's time for you to get on that pedestal of leadership. Bye now.